Microphone is open.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the February 24th regular council meeting. Call the meeting to order at 9:01 a.m. The additions to the agenda. Mr. Brackett.
I have one addition, which is southeast 115616. Report we acquired last year, so just wondering what the plans are for this coming year.
That'll be six. Yep. Mr. You got it?
I've actually got nothing to add today.
So, that's what you're doing. Okay. Let's start the host.
No, I have nothing also.
Okay, Councillor Fitz.
No, nothing today.
I have nothing for administration.
Mr. Reed, we have one item, a converted council, but something that did not make it into the agenda package. It's in response to the council direction on new secondary residences. Only that in 2023.
What other additions? Can I have somebody make a motion to accept as amended?
Council accept the February 24th, 2026 regular council meeting agenda as amended.
All right, questions or concerns? All in favor?
Yeah.
Carried. All right, we'll adopt the minutes from our February 10th meeting. I think you guys will have time to read it. There's no errors or omissions, so I have to make the motion.
The Lamont County Council adopt the February 10th, 2026 regular council meeting minutes as presented.
All right, all in favor? Carried. We don't have a public hearing today, so we do have a delegation. We have Mr. Trevor and Miss Katie Schenkinger here. You guys want to come up? Come on up.
This is not. These are the red paper comments too. We just amended the one paragraph because of paid off.
Before charter changing the company, we did the sheet construction established by Lamont in 1970. I humble to carry on the work of his legacy as a small business owner in this industry for over a combined half-century now. Everything I know I credit to him and his influential lifelong friends that have guided me on this journey. I appreciate the opportunity to meet with you today and hear my request. As a small operation, business has been challenging the last couple of years in multiple ways. To help paint a better picture of where we sit, here's a breakdown of some of our biggest hurdles. Struggling to have our clients and customers meet our 30-day payment terms is difficult. We typically see payments stretched to 90 days plus, which holds up our money flow considerably and backlogs, staying on top of expenses. Considering the economic downturn in this industry, the cancellation of a couple of large projects we were awarded really threw us off of our course as we were preparing and increasing output to reach these quotas, and then everything stood still. Opening and closing class 2 pits has also been an arduous effort for us, as the cost of these applications, reclamation certificates, and the time it takes to get your money returned once everything is completed is not as timely as one would think when the government is involved. On top of that, the increased cost of everything from fuel to parts has elevated these challenges, as well as just increased every overall cost and expense. This past year, we come to terms with some ongoing health issues I've been experiencing. In an effort to reduce stress and workload, I downsized significantly, sold the crushers, and then shifting our focus to fulfill more modest expectations of the business. Even though we try and stay on top of everything, our increasing levy and finance charges with Lamont County is a clear indication that doesn't always happen. And I'm extremely sorry for this and grateful for your understanding and patience as we worked hard to resolve this and get all back on track. Our account with Lamont County had unpaid invoices of $127,164.74 for clay and aggregate levy. I'm happy to report that this balance is now paid in full. Part of this balance included $25,506.43 and finance charges to be paid, which has been done. We are requesting council please forgive the finance charges of $25,506.43, as our account has a zero balance and the first quarter levy reporting for 2026 has also been completed and paid. For this foreseeable future, there won't be any levy reporting to complete, as we are all purchasing all our materials from suppliers. We'd be so thankful for that leniency and forgiveness. It would make a huge impact on our operating expenses, especially this time of year, to have access to those funds to be able to continue to provide the people of Lamont County and the industrial sector with the same level of service and material expectations they have come to expect from us since 2007. Thank you for your time and consideration.
All right. Sure. Any questions or concerns for Mr. Shanger? For Mr. Shanger, right?
So were these charges? Okay, any outstanding balance, we went back, that finance charges were always added.
Yeah.
Okay. You said that was for levy for aggregate and clay. Right.
Yeah. Right now, the county owes you money on a gravel pit, correct? It's waiting on them to inspect it after it is relayed.
Yes. Yeah.
Lots of money.
It is 50. 58,677.
That's just on one bit.
Yeah. So, and then they hold it to get yeah. Yeah, put it in the offer. Nations. Yeah. A year to 2 years.
Some bits we did, the county inspected on the one that Darren did on Highway 29, so the county inspected and we reclaimed it.
Yes.
So now it's Alberta, when did we change Alberta government now to inspected, and we're on a class 2 pit, we do it ourselves.
It was a virtual.
For me.
We pay interest on money that we're holding for people. On other pits and stuff.
This is security.
Securities, if we're late paying, yeah, we would take, but securities and things that are within normal process, there's no late expenses.
Okay, any other questions?
Your submission credit for giving. You actually have to be.
For that, fake, how much money did you have to put up to, what's the hold on that one?
The securities on that was $281,607.50.
So that's what you got up.
Yeah.
There's no other questions or concerns? Right. Okay, what we'll do is we'll dig into as information and we'll get back to you with an answer and everything.
Okay.
You gotta try to make sure you don't do, names and numbers and stuff on it in the public for your guys' protection and also, right? So,
Yeah, got anything to add before?
yeah. Susan?
The only thing that'd be nice is, if you guys could look into class 2 pits, the reclamation. Going through the government is just extremely hard. There's so many little pits that got been open in the county and that gravel close. But it's, when you go through Alberta, just something about on the reclamation.
I thought at the last RMA, and 2 RMAs ago last fall or last spring, they were saying it's gonna be easier to open gravel pits in the province of Alberta, and all of a sudden, we were changing ourselves, but when did they change the rules and made it harder? When they said they were making it easier?
We'll get you that information.
Okay, could we get a copy of ag levy policy too, please?
I think what would be fun to do is check and see if, bids that were, last week bids before this change came. Be grandfathered in under the old policy, then you wouldn't have to wait. I know on the one bid that the county reclaimed vertical bid, it was up 3 years to see how the hay caught, to see if they'll, issue the reclamation certificate, so. We'll see what we can do with that.
We go to the grandfather to us.
But it's even the newer, like if I wanted to go, open a new pit right now to do a class 2, even just the environmental fees and stuff, on the one that we just did. Just to do all the environmental on 4 acre pit, it's $18,942.
That's so far. You're still looking at about $8 more grand just to work out the reclamation.
Yeah. So that's $26,000 for a acre hit, which seems pretty high. And that number was given by planning and development. We applied for the permit and stuff, that's the number they came up with. For this, for securities, yeah.
But you gotta do the environmental and then securities on top of that, and
Yeah.
then, I think the last bit you paid up front the royalties.
Yeah.
Before they expect to be $100,000 now.
Yeah.
The county of Lamont.
And there's lots of these little bits, that it's beneficial for the landowner, and then that we can sell to farmers and local residents instead of having to go, onto the county for having.
County itself is with 4 pits right now.
Okay, not gonna keep you guys for your time. Good day. Okay, so you guys heard presentation, does anybody want to make a motion?
Sure. Lamont County Council accept the presentation for state year subcommittee limited, Trevor Katie Schaefer regarding the request for the finance director information.
All right, any questions or concerns? Yeah, great. Number 6, bylaws, we don't have it. So we're gonna move on to unfinished business, follow-up action plan.
So with our recent changes with proceeding bylaw, we adopted an old building new business format, and we follow it actually. It's only been 2 weeks, so really, something over here is still here. We've added the most recent resolution, and I have my progress dates. Some of them are being addressed today. Happy to answer any questions that you have. Please use the index of your own column.
Great, anybody have any questions on the follow-up action plan?
Yeah, I'm just looking for the new.
Great.
If you are you looking for the environmental water?
Yeah, the number.
The Heartland Water Station doesn't want in all action, it is, it's part of the capital program. That tender, number 29 is on here. Tender closes at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and the results will be brought forward to the next council meeting.
When that thing was built, we had, Reese Tournament in Chicken and the family that, family owned business designed it and built it. I don't know the company. I told them it's not working, the boring was splitting out good, and now it's down and stuff, and is there any way we can get all the paperwork on when it was built, design and stuff? I got, people I know that work with that kind of stuff in other municipalities. And they said they're willing to read it over and see if there's something simple to fix that problem. The pumps and that are all the same and nothing was changed, but all of a sudden the pressure is high. We could get a copy of the design of it, please, and
Yeah, we
and the
do.
engineer, maybe we can get a hold of him and see what he was talking about at the research.
So we do have the as-built when the Heartland Station was originally built, and we do have the as-built when the truck fill was put in. We can provide those to council.
Thank you.
Do we do need to stay committed to the 10th for definition.
Okay, any other questions or concerns about the follow-up action plan? We get a motion to accept as information. Or
February 24th, 2026, designated.
Right, questions or concerns? All in favor?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to new business. This would be the land producers livestock guard dog handicap program contribution. Thanks, everyone.
Morning, all. So what you have in front of you is a request for council to contribute $500 to Alberta land producers, for the, guard dog, project for 2026-27. This item was brought forward on, February 11th to the Agriculture Service Board. The Alberta land producers did make an application through the SCAP. They are looking at making sure that the livestock guard animal program does get some traction. They want to update the management practices and public education for the nation. So the Agriculture Service Board did approve this. And we're requesting that also make a motion to contribute.
Great. As you guys all remember, that's who that answer before we brought this up. Is there any questions or concerns? None. If somebody wants to make the motion.
Sure, Lamont County Council contribute $500 to the Alberta Lamb Producers Livestock Guardian Dog SCAP project for 2026 and 2027.
All in favor?
Yeah.
All right. Now we have the 8.2 policy.
So also at the ASB meeting, we brought forward 4 policies. Policy 6032.26, joint programming. Policy 6033.26, the demonstration tours and field days. Policy 6062.26, the corner brushing. And policy 6099.26, the roadside brushing program. The service board did make some amendments to it. They're making a recommendation to the council to approve these policies as amended.
Okay. And I guess we'll start off with policy 6032.26, joint programming. If somebody wants to make the motion to approve.
Lamont County approved joint programming policy 6032.26.
Carried. You want to look at the 6033?
I move that Lamont County Council approve demonstrations, tours, field days policy 6033.26.
Right, questions or concerns? All in favor?
In favor.
Carried. 6062.
Lamont County Council approved corner brushing policy 6062.26.
Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Carried. And the last 6099.
The side project program policy 6099.26.
Perfect. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Yeah, in favor. What you been doing? So. Moving on to 2026 college program.
There were limited suggestions.
program for 2026. Handing out, so that.
Yes, so as listed on the attached maps, any projects completed in 2025 are shown in big circles, and you can tell that in black circles. The 2026 proposed contract replacements are the blue triangles. And the proposed internal work for this year is the orange triangles. There have not been any amendments to the proposed plan. As council did not provide any other projects to look at or include. It's previously addressed with council. Their 2026 program will utilize one internal crew, and then the money council has transferred the dollars that we will not spend, council has transferred that over to increase the amount for contracted local position.
Have any questions or concerns? We have for.
On Division 4 of Range Road 161 north of 580. Is that across from the church there?
That is correct.
So,
To install one 600mm culvert crossing the road as we discussed at the time, and to do some ditching on the west side of the road to define a channel down to the Whitford Spit further to the south. Or Sunland, sorry, further to the south.
Yeah, I think before we do anything, we probably should have a meeting with the protected landowners.
I would.
Because if you put that road culvert across the road, it's going there from the east side, the ditch isn't defined all the way, and it's going to be going into the field, so.
That is why we propose ditching on that side, to define and keep the flow in the channel or along the side of the road until it reaches the south end. So
Okay.
once we have a approximate design, I would contact the landowners and let them know more at the time.
And there's also a driveway that's added up the hill, which sort of tiny culvert further into the field and goes over the east side there. So that's how it's anything.
I can take a look at it, yes.
And just another question that's not really related to this, but the old large drainage issue. We were going to investigate flooding of the county pit. Where's that sit at right now? Any work being done on that, or?
With the county pit, not at this time. Lafarge drainage, we haven't had any issues with since the new landowners purchased it and brushed out the entire channel. So we will keep monitoring it at the time.
And just one other issue that's not on there, on 163 or with 580, I guess there for Dave's place, remember?
Yes.
We did some sculpting of the ditch. I thought there was one culvert that needed replacing, and we weren't gonna do it last year.
We went last year and we flushed it out. The culvert still appears to be in decent shape right now. So we're leaving it for the time being. Within the next 5 years, I'd say we'd be up there replacing it for sure.
Okay. Okay, I'm addressing my questions for the vision.
Any other questions or concerns?
No, I'm okay.
On the north of
Contract.
Correct, yes.
So when that water crosses 200, it goes into the west field and then it crosses the driveway to abandoned farmyard, and that driveway has wooden culverts. The year of the flood, that driveway was holding back water, and we were flooding all the way back past past Star, all the way to halfway to Chipman.
Yes.
If we're changing all these culverts, coming the water from, Star all the way down to Range Road 200, we gotta put a culvert in that driveway. During that big flood we had a few years ago, the county dug out the driveway. There's 2 wooden culverts and they dug it out so to get the water going, because it was backing up all the way past Star. And, then when they just left it open, the farmer filled it in himself about a year later. They should have put another culvert there, but, if we put all these culverts in and do nothing with that driveway, it's, the way the creek goes.
So as shown on page 54 of the agenda package lists all the culverts. The fourth one from the bottom on page 54 shows us replacing the 3 400 diameter wooden culverts in that approach with 3 1000. So that will be part of the project, the contract will go this year.
Sorry?
So as part of that, the contractor program, those 3 wooden culverts will be replaced with 3 1000s.
It shows on that, doesn't show that approach. Goes on the road.
So with these maps showing how large it is, there is, hard to identify every single location when they're all at spawned. So there's a couple locations where if you look at, that Star, there's multiple locations we did last year, but it really only shows one circle. So it's just hard to see multiple, spots in a close proximity. So, but those wooden culverts will be addressed this year.
Are those, 3, what are we gonna have, 3 1000s?
3
I
1000.
think on the map it's going to the road.
Yes.
Okay. Cause there is one on the, right in the ditch, they, cleaned it out, but it just can't keep up, so.
So currently, on Range Road 200, there's 2 800s through the road. Those are being replaced with 3 1000s. And in that approach, there's 3 400s being replaced with 3 1000s. So the culverts in the road will match the culverts in the approach.
Okay, then on 201, they're putting bigger culverts there too.
Yeah, on 201, the 1 800 would be 3 1200s.
After it goes west of, Range Road 201, it's got deep banks, so that, it's not gonna flood anybody else, so. There's a holdup, but up until the 201 all the way back. If we speed up the water, we're gonna have big floods. Okay. Any other questions or concerns from the drainage group? Okay, seeing none. We can make a motion to. Yep, or approve the drainage as presented.
The Lamont County Council approved the 2026 drainage program as presented.
All right, all in favor?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Carried. Thank you, guys. All right, so we're going to 8.4, tax assessment and late fees.
Originally gave the landowner. So the fair was not really involved in the subject review, they said. With initially with the administration and then with our assessor. He reportedly made a transfer at the bank on the day of the review. And as customary, the bank transfer sometimes takes a day or two for those to come through. So we're in situations we he received the assessment, we contacted the very the assessment. And then money was advised to be paid and would be refunded if his county of the assessment was successful. He was advised on you. of the revised assessment, it was lowered slightly. However, what he was advised to do really have a. So he didn't pay until the 30th, and then we didn't. Then we needed to get the transfer on July 1st. So, and then also recommends repayment when that money does, or rather recommends a payment when in doubt, and then a true up. We attached a copy of the file for tax penalties. Generally, there is nothing in the bylaw that provides for this kind of a refund. Administration has only ever recommended a repayment where there has been non-distant and property. So we reviewed this one in some detail, and there has not been a payment for
You had all that time to read over and think about it. We have a motion that's presented. When we read the motion to start off with.
Bylaw 84.24 and deny the request for a refund of the tax penalty.
Okay, any questions or concerns? So none, I'll ask a question. All in favor? Carried. All right. There's a letter for a meeting with Mr. Hunter, new environment and protections area.
And then the originally made a request for a meeting to the honorable.
Yeah, Schultz.
Completely forget apologies for Mr. For actions. We made a request late in the fall, the date, which was canceled. We have read our request. We have some briefing information available on council. As a briefing in advance of the meeting, it has been put in your calendar. There are three items that we recommend council will go through. So the first one is water line matters. So, integrated the water allocation to the water is, including potential agricultural uses, the opportunity to provide for water line and anticipation, further applications, and advocacy for additional funding and support would be to transportation and corridors. The integrated water program that we expect to be launched in May, and that would be very in the discussion with council had with Minister staff back in February, back in January 1st. The second one would be funding availability for drainage improvements in the designated industrial zone. We have introduced a stormwater levy. However, there is a fair amount of work that needs to be done beyond the current offsite areas and also in the designated industrial zone. And our ask would be to pursue funding very much the same as was provided for the water line in order to make the drainage improvements. And the third one is support for an enforcement matter, which has been ongoing for a number of years. One aspect of it is non-compliance, something that the province is aware of. This company that will remain nameless, has removed a wetland, is directing water into the ditch and into adjacent lands. So I have a paper copy of a briefing provided to council. In closed session, we're looking at this third. The rest of it you can read it, be sure, but, we have a recommended motion to, accept the report on the meeting with Alberta Environment Protected Areas and External Tourism Information. And to the extent that it's helpful to use this information in that meeting to be.
Okay, any questions or concerns?
For an environment, these areas ministry on the state of being.
All in favor? Carried. We'll have to move into the committee of the whole. Sorry. 8.6, the rental property, call it rental property. And we acquired.
So, to ensure all council is aware, back in 2025, the county acquired a quarter section of land, kitty corner to, one of our gravel pits, through tax arrears. The land went up for a tax sale, but was not purchased. At the direction of council, we went in, late November, early December, while we were doing, gravel extraction at the ET pit. We worked in there. We did identify less than about 10 acres of gravel in the southwest corner of that property. The quality of gravel is not great. There's nothing larger than maybe 3-inch diameter. The depth maximum was about 2.5 feet, somewhere, some places about 6 inches. So there's not a lot of gravel there. It's not likely will make a great surface material. We do intend to bring forward a complete report for council to consider, and as part of that, what to decide, how to decide what to do with that property, whether council wants to retain it and actively mine it in the future, or whether council wants to consider disposing of that.
How many acre pocket did we find?
It's less than 10 acres in the southwest corner. We started knowing that there was a active gravel pits to the west and south. That's where we started. But we proceeded to with our trackle to search for gravel going east and north until we ran out, and it was a very small defined area in that southwest
Question.
No. In discussions with Mr. Leniak, leasing for 1 year would probably be the best option if council wishes to look at disposing of it. We can look at doing a multi-year lease on it. With that property and also the IPL lands along the river, Mr. Leniak looking at leasing both of those out potentially for 1 year this year.
Yeah, I just brought that up, and there would be, if we're interested in purchasing or interested in leasing it, so I guess.
We're gonna give what we're finding in there.
So the day that we discussed with council was the last day we were actually in there. Some other time.
Questions or concerns regarding the gravel check?
It's simply receiving this information. It's simply receiving information. We said it over here. This is something we provided when it is.
At least 2 year lease and then see what we're gonna do there. Get acres. They do a lot of test holes then 10 acres.
Yes, so we started every 100 meters and then we went back, filling in the gaps, tried to, first priority was to identify the area and then go back and identify the quality and depth. So we did significant holes throughout, took a few samples. But as I said, there's not a lot of large rock in there. There is a lot of sand. I'm not very keen on that quality gravel that it will produce. It may make a decent pit run, just whether council wants to invest dollars into a small 10 acre pit adjacent to our other two.
That land is in A right now, A crop.
We did a visual, is it right from the fence line that gravel? What's the other side of the fence line like there? Is there or what's on the?
So there was a pit to the west, and then the county has the pits west of it. And there was another pit further south on the quarter. So the south half of the south quarter of the south was also a pit as well.
But right over the fence, was there a pit right against the fence?
To the west, yes.
And this gravel starts right at the fence.
Yeah.
I'd say we do a 2 year lease and then decide what we're gonna do. It'd been nice to see what that gravel looks like. Okay.
Okay, any other questions, concerns?
I believe we're not able to extend.
We'll just, yes, not for tender, right?
Yeah, for 2 year lease. You gotta put out for tender at least. Tender only 2 year lease. Direct administration to tender a lease at southeast of 115616 west of the port for 2 years.
All right. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Carried. Good. Right, serve the worst of the time. Get it out, get it for tender, and then at least gives us a chance to see what we're gonna do with that product.
Yeah, we would see what that, too bad we didn't see what that ground looks like. Do you guys take any samples or anything?
We did take a couple of samples and we do have pictures as well.
Okay. We for next meeting. All right, moving on to committee of the whole. I can do that, I guess. I'll move the regular council meeting for February 24th into committee whole meeting at 9:49 a.m. All in favor?
Yeah.
Carried. We have some older policies that we need to rescind that have no merit on one of our workings that we have here. So, Mr. Tarnowski?
Second, can you speak up, because we're getting, they can.
It's just your name.
Yeah.
And
I can hear. You can hear over there. We can. A lot of times you talk right when you're talking and
the only ones that you can't hear is just you.
yeah.
You get all morning vote on you.
Yeah, anyways, please speak up and so people can hear you.
Can you turn that up?
Mr. Reed, we have a small collection of policies that administration has identified as policies to consider to be rescinded. They're out of date and over time they've been released by newer versions or through other legislative changes. Ms. Benoit will take you through those.
These are the first two policies that we have. Send them. These, policies, review them, the, copy.
We've had them in the agenda for a while here, so we can. Some of them are pretty self-explanatory, like smoke-free environment. Those are the government policy anyway. We got outdated, there's a bunch that are outdated.
Well, and truthfully, it's not a policy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it covers 4129, material dumping in the county right of ways. That'll go where those waters are out by Wascott, they're dumping it. Stuff in that.
Yeah.
They probably start on the land use bylaw, where, dumping of. Okay.
So policy 4129 would be superseded by our bylaw that it's our roads bylaw. And it outlines what county kind of done within the county right of ways and dumping the one that right of ways cover that. As part of the bylaw, these officers lines under the policy, there is nothing that.
Okay, and I have a question on 3150, or so it would be on page 89. So this doesn't affect our transportation grant to the seniors clubs or that, though, does it?
That's the next item.
Oh, good. I've let people are like, holy, I didn't bring that one in here. I'm like, oh, all right, sorry about that. All right, any questions or concerns on the rescinded policy?
So, Mr. Reed, because this is a committee of the whole item, what we're doing is recommending this to you today. We will bring these back so that each of them is individually be rescinded at the next, with a second motion.
Dave? Yeah. Recommendation.
The Lamont County Committee of Direct Administration to bring back policies to be sent as discussed to the next council meeting.
Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Carried. All right, now we'll move on to the one that I was looking forward to. Community halls and transportation grants awareness campaign.
So, Mr. Reed, this matter was brought before council and amended last year to provide for other eligibility. The policy is on page 89. Let's see the date on it. Oh, there, January 28, 2025. So, this, grant program acknowledges the important role that a community organization play, both volunteer and otherwise, to ensure fairness and ensure that all appropriate community organizations can apply and receive these grants. We have an intake period assessment. The intake deadline is June 1st. So between March and June 1st, and a somewhat significant push to communicate the availability of these grants. You see that in the middle of page 87. Both in terms of our website, social media, in focus, as well as the regular music advertiser. And that has resulted in a somewhat favorable rate of application for the community halls and transportation brand awareness campaign. We also communicate directly to all prior applicants to ensure that they are aware that the intake period is open, and so that they are aware of the application. Grants totaled about 48,000, and that was accompanied by sponsorships of another $80,000. So just for community grant sponsorship, it was about 88,000. Last year's other grants that council provided, generally speaking, those were outside the community hall and transportation grant program, were 50,000 to the Andrew Charter School, 25,000 to the Lamont. So clearly, council is concerned and ensures the community groups are supported. Finally, again, budget separately. Nearly council was 2,000 through the centennial grant and another 5,600 stars. So a media advisory will go out on February 27 to ensure that our local media is going to be able to pick this up. And we'll have an indicated letter to previous recipients, application form, and the policy on well-being communicated broadly to ensure that we have one swim access to appropriate community groups.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or concerns regarding this? Well, it affects trouble that are one of our all very real, it helps them significantly with this contribution, so. There's any other. If there's no other questions or concerns, then I will make the motion. Accept the information.
Lamont County Council of the whole except report of the 2026 community halls and transportation grant awareness campaign information.
All right, so we'll go to 7.4, all in favor? Yeah. Carried. So we'll take us back to our regular council meeting.
Mr. Reed, we had a vote 9.3.
We're gonna go get it. Oh yeah, sorry, which secondary residence was 9.3?
Well, just thinking, at the presenter table, I'll recap that on the 27th of January, council directed administration to forward recommended regulations to allow for second residency on agriculture and country residential district park. Rather than bringing the bylaws on the sort of form to you for approval, we have brought it to committee all again to provide for some good discussion and debate. So that once we do bring it for your approval for first reading, it is ready to go.
Because of the regulations governing second residence is pretty restrictive and limits the ability of Lamont County residents to engage in flexible long-term bonding for family farms. So following a review of several county land use bylaws around us, and to the north, to assess how multiple residences are accommodated on a single parcel. Administration has developed proposed regulatory amendments for council's consideration. And so, during council's discussion of this matter, concerns were raised by the placement of dwellings in a matter that would preclude, future subdivision. And it was suggested that we could condition, be imposed to permit the dwelling while restricting the ability to subdivide at a later date. Such an approach would introduce, unnecessary complexity for existing farmsteads and future development planning and is not recommended. Accordingly, the proposed regulations have been drafted to ensure that subdivision remains a viable option for future consideration, subject to applicable policy and approval processes. In addition, it is recommended that the current definition of second residence be revised to better align with the intent and scope of the proposed changes. So I've given you a red line copy of what's here now and what I'm asking to have added, and then I've given you a clean copy at the back.
So as a request was to make it into the agenda package, perhaps we should go through the black block of
Sure.
the copy and something that. And let's have some discussion. And again, our apologies, we had this one approved before the I think this document this is not really it come up.
Okay, so right now in our 8.2 secondary dwellings in the land use bylaw, it only allows for a secondary dwelling on agriculture parcels. And so we've added in the country residential districts. And I've removed a whole bunch of restrictive regulations regarding the fact that it can only be for a caretaker or farm workers, etc. And then we put in that shall be discretionary within the ag and CR districts. Notwithstanding section 1, which is that only one secondary dwelling may be allowed. The municipal planning commission may at its discretion approve additional dwellings on a full quarter section, provided that the total number of dwellings of any type on this parcel does not exceed 4. This falls in line with the ability to subdivide into 4 parcels on a quarter section. And so then there would be 4 homes on those parcels already prior to subdivision. 820.3, a secondary dwelling shall only be approved where suitable accesses and services can be provided to the satisfaction of the development authority. This is regarding access to roads as well as water, sewer, and power and gas services. Though there is a variety of ways that can be done. No dwelling should be located less than 38 meters from any other existing or proposed dwelling as measured from the closest exterior walls of the dwellings and should comply with all other minimum yard setbacks and requirements of the applicable land use district. Including this regulation, and it makes it viable that a subdivision can happen at any point in the future because it then meets the side yard setbacks and the rear yard setbacks for any regulation going forward.
Yeah, just a second. So if, so when you got the farmyard and you wanna have two houses in the same farmyard, it won't be allowed? Cause you're saying it has to be that they can subdivide it.
And you can subdivide farmyards.
I know what I'm saying, the way it says, what you just said,
It has
what
to
I'm
be,
getting from it is, they gotta be, so you can
they have to
subdivide.
be separate, yeah.
So if I got a yard that's 3 or 4 acres, our yard is about that, and we wanted a second dwelling in there, I know we can't have, we're in the heartland, but if, in the rest of the county here, they can't build a second farmhouse.
They can, it just has to meet setbacks. And so what it does is it makes it so that safety codes matters are handled as well as then all setbacks. Well, and additionally, at 3 to 4 acres, this is discretionary. So if you go to the MPC, they can adjust that distance, that separation distance at any point in time. It's just a variance to the setback that is more than I as a development officer can grant. On 3 to 4 acre parcel.
So I'm talking the whole, 160 acres, whether it's 3 or 4 acres for the yard.
Yeah.
And they want to build a second farmhouse in the city, they got 0 property lines, the house is right on the property line.
Yeah.
So if a farmer and his son wants to build a house 200 feet from his dad's property, and it's in line, they can't be subdivided, that's they wanna build it, that's their prerogative, they have to move it if they want it.
But this is why I say that they can bring it to the NPC for a variance to that setup. And it can still happen, it's just they have to provide reasonings of why it's a good planning decision to do so.
But we're trying to make it easier for them.
I think what Neil's getting at is less red tape.
Yeah, that's red tape is what I'm getting at, yeah. it's
If you
just,
wanna build the house, you build the house.
If father and son wanna build two houses, they got them, but, less red tape.
I think
This is permitting, provided that they are no less than 38 meters apart.
And 38 meters is really not that far. It's not.
But in the city, they got them on the property line, so what, if they wanna be right next
Because
door,
we're not the city.
look at each other, that's their problem, not mine, so. Why would we not allow that?
Because we're not the city, first
In the
of all.
same, in the same farmyard, they own the property, just
Yeah.
like people there own it. We're trying to make it easier for the ratepayers.
But this
is what I'm
is,
getting
this does make it easier because we allow it. Right now, we don't, like, they can't even do it. This would allow them to add on a second residence. They can have a basement, they can put it on a permanent foundation, they can have an attached garage. Currently, they can't have any of that.
So
But
this
if they want
38
to-
meters, oh, sorry,
Go ahead.
this 38 meters, how did we come up with this number?
So right now, side yard setback and rear yard setback is 18.3 meters. So if you have two dwellings, this dwelling has to have 18.3 and this dwelling has to have 18.3 in order for subdivision to happen. 38 is basically that double plus a little bit extra for leeway. That's all it is.
Yeah, I have a comment. Remember that subdivision where, two dwellings in one yard and then, original landowner passed away and left, the two kids the property and one wanted to sell their share. So I think that's what we're trying to avoid here. Sooner or later, if there are two titles, or two residents, somebody's gonna sell something, chances are pretty good of that, eh? So. It would still count the MPC as discretionary, right? Need a separate septic system.
Yes. That's the only way that they would be able to subdivide in the future is if they have separate septic. So it's better to put it in now than to wait in the future than have a surprise bill to have to do so.
Okay, any other questions?
I went over it quickly. 2 weeks ago, our discussion included that something might be permitted with the condition that it will never be subject of a subdivision. Your comment was that easy words becomes complicated, becomes messy. Putting caveats and properties and will result in litigation, but certainly all sorts of conflict. So what Ms. Vick has done is provided the opportunity to bring things forward in a manner that it would meet good planning practice, and then bring it to the municipal planning commission for a variance of those best planning practices. So not putting in red tape, enabling a process for something that doesn't fit to be brought for a ruling by NPC. Did I express that well?
You did. I would also add to that, when we're adding a second residence to a parcel that is already, we'll call it parcel number 4 out of quarter section, there's no ability to further subdivide that at this point in our regulations. So if it's on a 10-acre or less parcel, there will be no ability to subdivide further. So those regulations are easier to relax these setbacks because we know that there will be no subdivision available for that person.
Okay, another question, so we had a delegation here about wanting to build a new home. If they wanted to live in their existing home, they thought it was in really good shape, so with this new policy, do they still have to demolish that original one? It's just that it has to be 38 meters away.
Correct. Absolutely, yeah.
If you're proposing dwelling, putting a mobile home, which is not a permanent fixture, you still need 38 feet.
30 meters, yes, yes, and the reason being is that it would still be considered another dwelling on the property. And so it doesn't matter if it has a temporary foundation or a permanent foundation. What matters is, temporary is relative.
When, the sewers and that is all done by Alberta government, they decide what has to be put in here, whatever they're doing, right?
Correct. It's under the Safety Codes Act.
That 38 meters is about 123.5 feet.
Prior to taking your preference, any changes that you would like to see?
We just got this, really.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely go over, read it back.
Your intention to bring those the first readings in 2 weeks? Or-
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can find out. Sure, you can still.
You can still maintain it.
You. Said 4 acres less, it's 10 acres or less, isn't it?
It is 10 acres or less, but Mr. White has talked about a 3 to 4 acre parcel that he was discussing, and that's why that number came up.
Okay.
You were
Because
saying on 10 acres or less that you cannot have a
For-
second dwelling?
no, you can't have a second dwelling, you just can't subdivide it in the future.
Oh, okay, okay.
So that's when we were talking about it before, is if they decide they're selling, they have to remember that it's both places
It's
are being
all or
sold,
nothing.
it's all or nothing, right? So they can't split it as a tax base.
Yeah,
Maybe just explain one more time about the 160 acre parcel subdivided into or at least so how many homes total we have.
on a quarter section, just that has been unsubdivided, I put a regulation in that they can put 4 homes on. And that is to sorry, I just lost the word. Account for the fact that there can be 4 subdivisions out of that quarter section, and that 4 parcels can be created out of that quarter section. If a portion of that is subdivided out, then a new parcel can have 2 homes on it, which then makes it so that in total, the 4 parcels that are subdivided out of that quarter section can now have a total of 8 homes on a quarter section. Prior to subdivision, only 4 are allowed.
Okay.
Is this maybe something we need to bring in front of people? Let them look through any of this, or?
So this has gone out on our website. Additionally, after first reading, a public hearing will happen, and any public is welcome and encouraged to speak
Also,
to
there
it.
will be a public.
Absolutely,
hearing
there
on it.
has to be.
Okay.
This stuff is not, we're not in cameras, it's public.
Yeah.
So share it with whoever wants it.
Yeah, share it far and wide.
Okay. Highly recommend you share it, especially the people that are thinking of building a second homes.
Mhm.
All right, somebody wanna make the motion to accept this information?
Move the Lamont County Committee of the whole set to report on new secondary residents and remote and district regulation proposal as information.
All right, all in favor?
Yeah.
Carried. All right, can we have somebody return us back to our regular meeting?
Sure, the Lamont County Council of the Whole returns to the February 24th, 2026 regular council meeting at 10:15 a.m.
All in favor? Carried. Okay, maybe what we'll do is we'll take a 14-minute break. We'll be at 11 o'clock, 10:30, sorry.
video.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We'll continue on with our February 24th regular council meeting. We will go to committee report, director's reports, office of the CAO.
Thank you, Mr. Reed, here on page 94. The report before you covers the period of December 2025 to February 2026. Tries to highlight some of the activities undertaken in the office of the CAO, which includes the legislative officer as well as the community peace officer. Relative to goal number 1, which is having to do with enabling growth, participated in the water line mediation on December 1st, which resulted in the withdrawal of appeals by the appellants. Have had a couple of water intake meetings with Alberta Environment. On the advisory side, having primarily to do with how and when we approach expanding our water license entitlement as well as benefiting area. Participated with council for the meeting with the staff of the Minister of Transportation and Economic Corridors on January 21st. And meeting with a potential investor, one of the qualified leads that are won on February 17th. And Mr. Wilson will have an item later today addressing that item. Goal number 2, ensuring the community feels safe and enjoys an affordable quality of life. And you'll see that we've adjusted that goal to reflect council's priority and affordability. Participated in a regional emergency management agency meeting on January 8th, inspection of the greater shops in Madera and Andrew on February 20th, and development of agendas and review of all council RFPs and briefing notes, which is an ongoing matter. Goal number 3, council driven by accountability and transparency, prepared briefings for the meetings with the Minister of Transportation, referenced above, Minister of Environment, referenced earlier, and a potential meeting with the Minister of Municipal Affairs during RMA. Participated in budget deliberations, supporting that activity with council. In Ag Service Board meetings in December, January, and February, attended a portion of the Ag Service Board Northeast Convention on January 21st. All council meetings in December, January, and February. Participated in Public Works ASB tailgate and health and safety meetings in January and February, and reported personnel changes to council monthly for November, December, and January on the dates provided. Only a couple of bylaws approved during the past few months, but a range of policies that were brought forward for council's consideration, and you can see those on the bottom of page 95. In terms of goal number 4, ensuring the community assets achieve their maximum useful life and growth. Achieved approval of the 2026 operating and capital budget, presented the 3rd triannual report on January 27th, and that reflects the accomplishments during 2025. And the last council meeting on February 10th presented the 2026 to 28 business plan with measures and indicators, and for the most part, those measures and indicators were very favorable. Goal 5, recognized as a leader in sustainable growth, reviewing of ATIA requests regarding a persistent non-compliance matter, which has led to a legal action. We are not a party to the legal action. We are a respondent providing information through the ATIA process. Goal number 6, meeting with the regional CAOs on January 8th, addressing the legal matter, dealing with drainage, January 23rd, regional CEO CAO meeting. Also on January 8th, that doesn't seem right. Held senior admin team meetings every Wednesday after council meetings, and extended leadership team meetings on the 2nd Thursday of every month. And that's part of the way that we ensure staff are widely aware, supportive of the direction we're implementing on behalf of council. Additional activities,
RMA District 5 meeting, an assessment for elected officials webinar that a couple of you. Heartland orientation, significant undertaking was completing ICS 300 training that enables me to have a command role at the in the incident command post, should that ever be required. A law seminar with Brownlee, a planning orientation on February 13th, and M-Files training. M-Files is our new records management system that goes live on March 1st. Our legislative officer was meeting with administrative assistants to streamline the process for privacy and record searches. Assisted with the RMA District 5 meeting, attended the RMRF and the Brownlee Law seminars, attended planning orientation, as mentioned above, has initiated M-Files training with key Lamont County users, and is meeting with staff on privacy and records management questions somewhat regularly. Our community peace officer in the December to February timeframe has attended the Alberta Association of Community Peace Officers, February 2 to 6, has undertaken a crisis communications seminar, RCMP drug recognitions and interdiction seminar, IRS pilot project, and M-Files training. So these are some of the activities that we've undertaken that are of note from December to February.
Concerns with the. Not, and I would say. Motion to take that information, please.
Sure, Lamont County Council accept the CAO Department Activities Report 5 to February 26th is information.
All right, all in favor? Yeah. Carry. Committee report. Laura and Mr. Anaka.
I just had a Green Reveal 5-year meeting. Not too much I can work report on it. We'll move with little information.
Hey, any questions or concerns? Favor? Carried. Mr. Yanis.
Okay, me and Gerald went to the Lamont County Library meeting last night, and it's was pretty quiet. I mean, some of the things we talked about was our year-end financial report, and then one of their big things to have completed by the end of the month here was the 2026 public library survey and the 2025 annual report. There was a bunch of questions and things in there, but seeing as that Lamont County Library Board doesn't actually have a library, there wasn't much to talk about in it. So it really just came down to the financial reports. We set some meetings for the next year here. We've got some meeting dates, March 23rd, June 8th, August 27th, and October 19th. And I would assume those meetings will be much the same as the such that we had last night. So other than that, really, that's the only thing that I've attended to since our last meeting.
Right. Wanna give that as information?
Yeah, we'll take all of that as information, committee reports and the library board meeting, that's all information, so.
Okay.
I've got one other meeting besides what John and myself were at, was the RH meeting, which is a hospital meeting person and people, and that it was more of a workshop. So there was some discussion about financial grant stuff and a lot of workshop information discussed, different ones. They've got that doctor for a day for students there in kindergarten and grade 1, and they've got Elk Island that is backing them up. Schools helps them out with that on there. So it was a pretty interesting day of for us, for myself, learning what that was all about, their board and everything.
Anybody else, or any questions, sorry? Go ahead.
Then Lamont County accept Councillor Gerald Turowski's community report on rural health committee meeting as information.
All right, all in favor? Carried, favor. Okay, for myself, I attended the John Estatuque meetings, committee meeting. They have sent us a new water rate. They're still in the process of dealing with a lawsuit and some repairs that are going on. Just a leak that was supposed to be a leak that they couldn't find a leak, and now they say there may be another one. So, majority of us too attended the Ag Service Board conference. So if some of us didn't make it to other committees, that's where we were probably in attendance. We went to an RMRF law seminar in Edmonton at the Delta Hotel for the day. Next week, we attended the Brown-Lee Law Seminar, which was also in Edmonton. Day following that, we attended a Brown-Lee planning seminar in Riley. So we were compliant with working with our policies and procedures. And then on Thursday of last week, we had a Chamber of Commerce meeting in Fort Saskatchewan, and they did a presentation on AI and development in that front. And it was very well attended. It was sold out. There was 40 tickets available and 40 people purchased. So very well attended. And that would be it for mine right now. So I would make a motion that the Lamont County Council accept Reed and Wicks community report, committee report on John Estatuque Water Commission meeting, Agricultural Service Board Conference, the RMRF Law Seminar, the Brown-Lee Municipal Law Seminar, the Brown-Lee Planning Seminar, and the Chamber of Commerce meeting in Lamont as information.
I got one question.
Shoot.
For the John Estatuque, the town of Lamont, at their meeting in January, received a letter from the Estatuque that the water rates are dropping over the next 2 years.
Yep.
Did anything get sent to our county? Do we know anything about it?
Yeah, we did get it. Actually, I talked to the manager of the John Estatuque. It was a misfiling or missed email. They sent it to us late because we got the other towns and villages that received it before the county did.
Yeah, they added the 14, they added it to meeting.
Yeah.
Going down over the next 2 years, the big jump in the first year.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Yep. All right. Any questions or concerns for me? All in favor? Carried. Mr. Waits.
Excuse me, I attended that Brown-Lee in Riley. The lady presenter was very excellent speaker. She listened to her. Usually lawyers are pretty hard to listen to, but her made the thing pretty good. Learned a few things there. The rest of my stuff, I just attended some community events in the 12th and 14th of February. They had 50 years of Valentine's Cup that was set up by 3 local fellas, and they had a game for the old timers to play. The oldest player was 72 years old, and the next one is 68, who flew in from Palm Springs to play. There was, on Friday, the Friday game, they threw everybody sticks in the middle. There were 30 players and 4 goalies. There was probably 800 to 900 people in the stands, and then the next day they had their supper and dance and finals on Sunday, and the supper and dance sold out too. It was lots of the local parents and grandparents and great grandparents watching their grandkids and kids, and it was pretty good to see people we haven't seen in town for a long time, and people that live right close in the county and in town came. On last Saturday, the next community event was River Rats had their snowmobile ride. It was -33 in the morning. The ticket out didn't go on the ride part, it was -14, but they did go to supper and help out there and donate some prizes for myself. They had 75 people for supper and probably 68 riders on -14. They had a really good event. Again, it's locals, lots of locals in towns and villages and the farms, ratepayers that put this on the having scoop. And they're 25 going into the 26 year old. That's all I got. Valentine's up 50 year. We're in 50 year Valentine's Cup.
And there was another one, the second
Yeah,
one.
River Rats.
Rivers.
So the Valentine's Cup was 50 years. They're celebrating 50 years and of a hockey tournament, and River Rats 25 going into 26 years. It's snowmobile on the River Rats. So it is committee report on Brownlee planning seminar, the River Rat celebration, 25-year meeting, and the Valentine's Cup celebration, the Valentine's Cup 50-year celebration is information. But 50 years.
All right, any questions or concerns for Deputy Reed Boyce? All right, all in favor?
Yeah.
Carried. Thank you, guys. Now we have correspondence. We already made the motion, so we don't have to do another motion except for. Okay. Correspondence for action. Well, Warren.
Mr. Reed, you've got a number of pages from page 98 to page 103. Is a typical correspondence from very future. He's representing landowners in the picture here, but we got some other information. We have a copy of the invoice if you need to look at. Clearly, generally, Mr. Kuchar is asking for kind of interest charges waived. Here. So. Might do this one, right?
I thought so. Oh, sorry, yeah.
So the cost of the incident was $2,850. It had accrued interest of $360 in interest charges. Part of the reason why there was accrued interest charges is because the bill was sent to the first name on the title. There are 3 names on the title. Mr. Kuchar is engaging on behalf of the third name on the title. So the bill was sent to the owner. The owner did not pay the bill, and he and anyone else who was paying the bill. I've encouraged Mr. Kuchar and the lady who's the third name of the title, I think it's a daughter, to straighten out the land ownership on that title. During this time, to add confusion, the taxes were paid twice. So the amount owing was reduced by $358. At this point, there's a penalty of $285, and an amount owing on the fire of $2,851. There was no error on behalf of the staff in terms of human error or mechanical error. Everything is as it should be. The fire was not a campfire, and Chief Moore can speak to that. If you was not the size of the campfire, Chief Moore can speak to that if you'd like. This is a council decision. You have waived interest charges in the past. Again, the outstanding amount on the invoice is $2,851.92. And the penalty is $285.19.
That's the couple questions. Yeah, that's.
No, you go on.
How big was the fire? Is it a campfire?
So it was an abandoned structure that had been left for years. The fire, when crews arrived, partial building collapsed, which some of it was weather, some of it was from fire. There was working active fire inside the structure when crews arrived. And then to ensure that this scene was safe, ended up pulling down an old brick chimney that had been compromised because the walls around it had burnt out. So they pulled that down. Crews were on scene for 1 hour and 1 minute. So it wasn't a long duration event, but they wanted to ensure that the scene was safe before they left it. So they pulled down the brick chimney, applied some water, turned it over, applied water again. And like I said, the last truck was cleared in 1 hour and 1 minute. So they were there for a little bit of time. RCMP from Smoky, we're on scene with them as well for the duration of it. Sorry, from Two Hills. Yeah, so they had a active fire when they arrived that they knocked down. 2 apparatus. This is pre-change to our bylaw, so this is when all bills were going to landowners. So that is pre-change to that billing bylaw.
So this fire happened, and you said the junction of 45 and 645, there's an old building there. It was started, I think, maybe some people on quads. This is kind of a similar event that was about a mile further east. Before that, were some people on quads. There was a fire. The bill for that fire, I think, was around $6,000 or $7,000. Mr. Kuchar's the rancher of the property. And that was in October, November, and then we passed that no fault fire insurance in March or April of the following year. So given the size of the fire, that willing to pay half of the fire bill, and if we could forgive interest charges, that's his request.
Was that fire, was it snow on the ground or was it?
Snow on the ground was December
7/4?
or sorry, yeah. Temperature was 1 degree, winds 4 kilometers. There was snow on the ground and there was side-by-side tracks surrounding the structure.
So by December 4th, we were discussing a new policy already, right?
Well, those dates blurred together, but I mean, his request is pay half of the bill and put it to rest.
You said you guys were up there now, like,
Yeah,
so a couple hours, couple, 3 hours, everybody, but then you came,
hour and 47 minutes of billable time for 3 apparatus.
yes.
Yeah, from dispatch time to back in service time, the longest truck was 1 hour 47.
Any other questions or concerns, discussion?
Makes you wonder why it wasn't just paid and then deal with it after, right, to avoid all these interest charges.
Did they get they said they were gonna send to the wrong address?
No, it was sent to the first name on title. I spoke with that person, the name title holder, right when the first invoice arrived, and it was left with that individual, and it was a family discussion, so we bill who is listed first on the title. There's some family dynamics and things at play that we don't get involved in. We send it to the first listed title holder. She didn't want to pay it. The first one is a former resident of the area, which is a little old. And then there's 2 other names on the title.
And now the landowners will got the building, right? I mean, renters, the land renter, yeah. Once they have the bill.
So this, as it's the timeline, this is one of those ones that became eligible to be applied to taxes. So when it was applied to taxes is when the third title holder became involved in
The renters. So the renters are the ones wanting to pay the bill?
Yeah.
Why aren't the owners wanting to pay the bill?
Cause part of their agreement.
Well, I don't know, it's a brother and sister and a child of one of them, they're on the site. There's like, where you said there's some dynamics there.
But there was another arson in the area at the same time, right? So it's definitely
Another one was earlier, and no reports of anything came forward from the police investigations on that.
No.
It was like you said, they were side by side
Yep.
tracks there.
So it's not something they let and got out of hand and they're responsible, they're, somebody, some stranger or somebody, whatever, they don't know who lit it, but somebody lit it. What time was that fire at night or like,
It was call was received at 14:57, so 2:57 in the afternoon.
We entertained these requests in the past. This recall is that we waive the interest charge. The new bylaw, sorry, whether the new bylaw was in play or is secondary. The bylaw at the time. Is what we did here. Basically, the leaves. One day when I would be using one of them.
Okay, so you guys, do you wanna make a motion on the how we let to? Thank you. There you go, really, in this, you let me know. It's the number the bill, no.
Also reduced the outstanding invoice amount for the fire wheel regarding work at 0349 half and forgive the remaining interest charges.
All right, any questions or concerns? All in favor? Carried. All right. Now we move on to correspondence for information.
Is a letter. Thinking of Alberta to do with the best management agency addressing the issue of arisen as a result of the 2% of the statement that concentrate being is over. Page 106. You can see the email from the transportation. Is however, that is so regards to the participating municipal care for the renewed police funding on for 2026. So you get a couple weeks ago, we budgeted 360,000. They had indicated 305,000 will be our amount for fiscal 2027, and then increase of upwards of 24, 26, 28, and 30% for the next 5 years. Page 108 to 111, we have area MLA backyard company, which speaks to grants that are available to our municipality. Meetings with granting agencies, this information has to be provided to the RFC. Either attending or sharing this program. Page 110, item 13.5. We have a letter from Corporal Kevin and Nicholas, the detachment commander, active detachment, This is information. You know, should have been included, but we after the delegation 2 weeks ago. Speaks to, surveys, it speaks to, the police funding model and the importance of that, ensuring that they do their important work. On page 111 to 114, attached to Corporal Nichols' letter was a letter from Deputy Commissioner Trevor Garou that identifies their approach to addressing crime in Alberta. Those of you that were on council prior to the election will recall that we met with the Deputy Commissioner Garou and pretty much the whole 100 division. It sounds like in this letter that they are taking some advice from council today in terms of communicating how they address crime within our community, the province overall, beyond just simply the focus on policing officers' response rates. They're talking about operational approaches, like the real-time operations center, which also have the opportunity to view on their emergency response teams, their investigative capacity, and the partnership with the community. So this is something that you're able to spend some time reading if you haven't already. Their focus on identifying the top 100 offenders, which that's our committee, we not really and he also gives some example of people some work that they've done in February, years, I remember 2001 in the capture prolific offenders from all the various countries that offender committed. And then on page 115, what he understands to be council community priorities for people's detachment and the property plans, crime reduction, and enhanced road safety. You may recall last week that a letter that indicated that where desirable or necessary, the various attachments were prepared to consult with the community and the council on further identifying community priorities. I'll read that with you. On page 170 speaks to community consultations that they have to be done. It's called community visibility done. And it's a career day and then a food drive and attending the school to page 180 provides information on his complement and vacancy. And page 119 provides the contacts for the two most. This is limited value to the Lamont County because it primarily covers two goals and there was countless within two goals. The report provided 2 weeks ago was more valuable because that provides information about crime stats within rural Lamont, which for the most part includes the building excludes county. Six. We are not a member of FCM. Prior council determined not to pursue a membership in FCM. As I understand it, FCM is in and there may be a desire for councilors to attend FCM this year. On page 123, there is a calculation of what our membership fee would be.
if anyone is interested, I can provide more information on the timing of the conference as well as. In the general rule, we have attended and the opinion of the facility that there is limited value for them. Within 124, we have a letter from the advisor to government relations for the National Police Federation. So this is not a federal agency, but it's an association. I don't think it's the RCMP. It's just an association. Pleased to share that the federal Minister of Public Safety has confirmed once again the government has offered a commitment to the RCMP, contracting policing from municipalities. So at least for the time being to 2032, we have our RCMP as the National Police Force, and it's verifying the expert local policing services to the rest of the provinces and municipalities can continue to rely on. Last item is page 125. The Friends of Lamont Firefighters Society, a nonprofit, hold a firefighters gala. They go out there. There's another one scheduled for this year. This one is called the Laughing Way Firefighters Gala. Anybody's going to join in, they have to be here to see it with the Queens. It increases the mark 14, that's the kind of all. Extra ticket is $40. And it's an opportunity to celebrate the commitment and service demonstrated by our firefighters. If you are contemplating going, we will provide to you the email and cell phone number to Vernon Seeger. And that's all I got, Mr.
Okay. If we go back 13.3, I'd like to make a suggestion. And we sent a letter to the government, letting them do the requisition for the police funding model payment like they do with the education. You know, it sounds like we're the ones that are trying to set this, but it's not us. This is the provincial, the federal government.
It's another one of those, right?
Yeah. So I mean, you go from
Very good guy or a bad guy.
well, not exactly yet. And then the thing is, you know, you go from 300 and what was it, 65,000 almost now
To
800. Yeah. Like so just $830,000 by the time you hit 2030.
That's gonna be harder in our school.
Well, and in schooling, we have, what schooling is going up yet. Schooling is going up.
Education, we'll see here now. Guaranteed it's gonna go.
So, I don't know, Mr. Go ahead, Mr. Anaka.
Peter, do you remember what the initial amount was for your first game? I think, was it up to 200? I don't know if it was over for 200 at one time, but where did we start on this new one?
Things
I recall it's very much like years, 20, and whether that was the first year, but yeah, it's escalating very quickly, very quickly. I discussed this yesterday with Reed Wick, and we missed the deadline for a RMA resolution. It is on the radar of RMA. I'm certain that they have a resolution in place to be able to support that at the convention. But you know, I think what Reed is suggesting is a unique way that we can express to the provincial government if you want to apply a new funding approach to this one, then let's make this a regulation, just like housing, just like education. This is
We can assess or move on. We can assess for the page. We don't get assessed.
Any other questions? What about? Yeah, other things. That's pretty nice, so. Okay, I'll make a motion that the Lamont County Direct Administration prepare for the Reeves signature, a letter to the Minister of Public Safety and Emergency Services with copies to the Premier, Municipal Affairs, and Justice Ministers, as well as our area MLA, requesting the province treat the renewed police funding model amounts as a requisition, similar to how it treats education and housing foundation requisitions. Any questions or concerns about how that reads or sending it? No, all in favor? Carried. Thank you.
So if there are no other actions, then we've got a resolution to accept all response items.
Somebody wants to make the motion or information?
Sure, Lamont County Council accept all correspondence items as information.
Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Yeah, carried. All right, move on to your calendars. Here we have one on the back page. Thank you for everybody else at school, your committee meetings are on those, but. Anything else we need out there? Mr. Karnowski?
We are attempting to reschedule a CEO CAO regional meeting by some early. We're still working through potentially likely March 19th.
That's the day after we're back from our meeting.
The RMA is going to be relocated. Well, that's just the other reading.
Any other questions, calendar? If not, have somebody make a motion to take it as information?
That Lamont County Council accept the council calendar for March 2026 as information.
All right, all in favor? Carried. At this time, we're going to be moving into closed session to discover or to discuss emerging planning matters and the next development update. The reason why these are is just because of one closed session is because of the names of the proponents. So there's no, if I can have somebody make a motion that we move into closed session.
For Lamont County Council, move to February 24th, 2026, regular council meeting into a closed session at 11:20 a.m. to discuss the items emerging planning matter and economic development update.
Which is 1929.
Oh, yeah, I need to be actually 1929, and yeah.
All right, all in favor? Yeah, carried. Hello, everybody, welcome back. We have a couple of motions to make. So if we could have somebody make a motion for to take. We should probably we can do them all together as information, both.
There's one coming.
No, we need to do separate.
Oh, we do have no.
I'll do this one, Lamont County Council accept the, are we going?
Yep.
Lamont County Council accept the report on the emerging planning matter discussed in closed meeting as information.
All right, questions or concerns? All in favor? Carried. Next one, 15T.
Sure, I'll get this one. Lamont County Council accept the economic development update discussed in closed session as information.
All right, any questions or concerns? Any questions or concerns about the economic development update? Of information? All in favor? Carried.
This, or to get on the development. I thought that was the, I was looking at some.
Yeah, we have to do this one.
You actually take a minute for, yeah. Wonderful when you do this, you know. Certainly have an unpaid emotion. Energy and minerals.
Also authorize the reading to sign a letter to the Honorable Brian Jean, Minister of Energy and Minerals, as discussed in closed session.
Okay, any questions or concerns? All in favor? Carried. We want to make one for a new sheet and
I move that the Lamont County Council direct administration to take no further action on today's delegation request to forgive finance charges by Trevor and Katie Schinkinger.
all right, questions or concerns? None, all in favor? Carried. With that, We will adjourn the meeting at 12:08 PM. Thank you, everybody.